Hey y'all, it's August the 29th, 2018. I've had a pretty rough day and stuff, I've been just racing and racing. Didn't have very much time. Haven't had enough time to look into this and that that I wanted to. Alright, but I did catch a couple of things, alright, over the past couple of days. And I wanted to address one of the things. Now, obviously I'm going to preface by saying that certainly I'm going to get kicked off of YouTube when I feel like doing it, and that's going to happen probably pretty dang soon. All right, but the reason is because the things that I say, all right, they're not affordable, and a lot of people would call these things bullying and say, "Oh man, you're bullying. You're really bullying people. You're saying bad things." And in a sense, I can understand how people would come to that conclusion, right? That I'm a bully and stuff, because a lot of things I say is kind of harsh, kind of direct, kind of the point, and it's expressing my perspective, which seems harsh to a lot of people, right? So the other day we were talking about the Me Too movement. We've been talking about the Me Too movement for kind of a long time, on and off. Since it first started, it was just a while back. And I pretty much immediately called it out for just being ineffective. Just being almost not very much getting to the heart of the matter at all. Alright? People could take my criticisms for what they want, call me a sexist if they want, but honestly, I think what's more important than grown people getting used and abused in around Hollywood, and that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about regular, everyday, normal folks, alright? Which, I mean, that does happen, sexual abuse does happen, but on a far less scale than places like Hollywood, places like Washington, D.C. and stuff like that, big old cities where people are getting away and and it happens to small towns too, everywhere, and it's something to think about. But the Me Too movement, of course, was centered around Hollywood, basically, and it was centered around young adult ladies, unfortunately, and maybe they were younger. And the thing is, I have no tolerance for sexual abuse of any kind, personally. Right? So that's where I'm coming from. All right. So I called the Me Too movement out a long time ago. I said it was a disgrace. And a lot of people might not even have known what the heck I was getting at when I was saying that. But I knew in my gut. I mean, dude, it's total instinct. I said, you know what? This is going to be a disgrace. It's going to be a disgraceful movement. It's going to die out, this little movement, an embarrassment. All right. And so now it's August 29th, 2018. And not only the other day, see, that's the thing. Movements lots of times have founders and spearheads. You got a Rose McGowan, you got a Asia Argento, and they were like the spokespeople for it. All right. So if the Me Too movement was going to have any sort of success,
message from Skidmore, I'm going to take her to PetSmart
robot
for something
voices.
to get clean.
Hold on.
I appreciate it,
Hey,
brother, a lot.
I hope he doesn't say something personal. All right. Dang, robot voices. Sorry about that. I don't know how to turn that off. But anyways, the spearheads of this movement were just unsavory, and so I already knew this is not going to work out well. Just by listening to what Asia Argento, for example, had to say, what Rose McGowan's had to say over the past few years while she's been going a little bit absurd, right? So I called it out. I knew instinctually it's not a good idea. In fact, it's going to fail real hard, real soon. All right. So fast forward right now, and of course it is. You see that Asia Argento, she seems to be implicated, and very much implicated. To the point is, here's Asia's problem. Here's her real problem. Like not even thinking about all the sexual perversion. Asia's real problem is admitting to it. Unfortunately, she's not that good of a criminal. Right? Just like the Democratic Party, it's like the Democratic Party didn't say, oh, those emails are made up. All those emails are made up. They admitted those were the real emails. All right? And so that is their problem. Is they should have denied it all the way. Asia Argento should have denied it up and down, even though we would have known full well that, of course, we know what's going on. The thing is, she should have denied it up and down, in fact, but she did not. She certainly didn't. And the thing is, she went all over the top, and I want to discuss that because we're talking about bullying. You might say, trying to bully Asia Argento and she's not found guilty and stuff like this. Everything's speculation. You might say that, and I don't understand what you're talking about, but I still have to express that, somebody was slipping and tripping, and I already knew it from my gut. I mean, it was really obvious to see it. All right. So Asia, she's playing and pretending like she doesn't know what Hollywood's about, even though she was growing up in the industry. I mean, it was over there in Italy and stuff, but basically the same thing of all sort of glamorous perversion and just everybody with more power than they know what to do with. All right, so she entered Hollywood knowing exactly what the game was. She went ahead and she had some relations with Mr. Harvey Weinstein, allegedly, I guess. That's what she says. When she was like 21 years old. 21 years old. So what comes out now is something far worse. Not a 21 years old person, but a 17 years old person. Asia Argento basically raped. And a lot of people, I'm not saying allegedly, but a lot of people wouldn't consider that rape, allegedly. It is. It certainly is. And that's what she did. But it wasn't when he was 21 years old. It was when he was 17 years old. And you know what's funny, and people gloss over it, is the details of everything that she's admitted to already. And she's going to continue to admit to it just because she really is that wackadoodle. All right? She admitted to, and we're going to get into her friend, Rain Dove. We're going to talk about that in a second. She admitted to her friend, Rain Dove, over in text and stuff, man, that, yeah, she did it. Yeah, she did it. All right, not only that, but she said all sort of incriminating stuff. Like, here's the thing, you might already know from word around town that she's been, in a sense, blaming, implicating a Mr. Anthony Bourdain who's no longer with us, saying, oh, it was his idea to pay off the kid. Oh, it was his idea. Yeah, I'm sure it was his idea to pay this guy $380,000 to shut the heck up. All right, meanwhile, thing is, it's all right. I mean, the thing is, like I said, that was a civil case, $380,000 exchanged hands. And so I guess it should have been swept under the rug, legally speaking. But how is it that a person, let's go ahead and having sexual relations with a underage, a 17 years old actor who she very much is over him in dominance and power, very directly in Hollywood. So she does have some sort of power over his future, and so she gets him in a sort of situation, does that, all sort of things, right? And then fast forward until now, he's speaking out about it, probably because she's very hypocritical in what she was standing for. All right. Now, not only is she blaming Anthony Bourdain, but she even goes so far as to blame the young boy. I mean, you could see it in articles. Rose McGowan admits to it. Asia Argento, for whatever reason, articulated that the young boy, and I forget his name, and I don't see these movies, the young boy had been sending her unsolicited sexual pictures since he was 12 years old. It's like, dude, I know that they're glossing over it, but can you imagine the unending amount of perversion surrounding this whole situation? Let's assume that she's telling the truth. This young boy sending her dick pics and whatever else, man, since he was 12 years old. That is unbelievably perverse. That's a situation that is incredibly perverse. So what Asia Argento, as a grown adult person, would have done is immediately alerted somebody, alerted parents, alerted authorities, say, hey, look, this young boy's got the wrong idea. But see, that didn't happen. Instead, Asia Argento, and she admits to it, did nothing. For what, 5 years? So this, Asia Argento says that this boy was sending her the sexual whatever pictures for 5 years, until the point is, I get, like, she's insinuating that, like, that basically she was forced to give him, BJs. That he forced her to do it. Like through his persuasion, through cell phone pictures. This is what she's insinuating. If she wasn't insinuating it, she would have never had brought it up. So literally, she's in possession of child pornography, and she made not a mention of it to anybody. All right. And then later on, went ahead and sucked this little kid off in a hotel room, got him all drunk, and did it. It's like, dude, this is every last detail. Just check my resume and stuff, man. You go back and see if people aren't admitting to this. All right, and then had tried to hush him up, but about $380,000. Then later on, had I don't know, who's to say what she had to do with anything as far as Anthony Bourdain's death. I don't know that she has anything to do with it, except for the fact that she was quite obviously cheating on him with some younger dude off in another country at the exact same time. All right, because that's how she rolls, dude. All right. Meanwhile, she's the victim, and now all this stuff's coming out about her. And it's unsavory. Not only does she blame Anthony Bourdain, but she blamed the young kid as well. And she was telling this all to this friend of hers named Rain Dove. And if you haven't seen that, I mean, it just gets more and more bizarre. I had to bring this up. And you can call me a bully. You can call me a bully, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. She tells Rain Dove, who you guys, if you haven't seen Rain Dove, I don't know what it is. It's a lady, but it's a lady with a very manly face named Rain Dove. And she's having relations, or maybe she's not. She's in a relationship with Rose McGowan, who herself is unsavory. Now, Rose McGowan, in a slight sense, threw Asia under the bus. Everybody was talking about that, certainly, but she really didn't throw her under the bus all that hard. I got to admit to you, from what I've read, that wasn't really the case. Thing is, you might call me a bully and whatever else. I had a bad feeling about this whole movement ever since its inception, and I still have a bad feeling about it. A real bad feeling. I want you to go ahead and just Google pictures of Rain Dove and Rose McGowan. They're an item, you guys. And that's all right. We live in America. I don't care. You can do that if you want. But, I mean, when you look at pictures of them, it's like... If you don't have all sort of questions, know that I do. I have all sort of questions. And even if I were to never ask the questions, I would still have all sort of questions in my mind. All right? It's like, dude, we're talking about a situation of what is and what is not sexually appropriate. All right? And the story allegedly goes that Rain Dove, in fact, knows what is sexually appropriate and what's not sexually appropriate. And if I understand correctly, Rain Dove knows that the line is drawn at children, aka minors 18 and below, or whatever the law is in that particular state. Right? And that's where Rain Dove draws the line. All right. This is where me and Rain Dove would definitely agree. Me and Rose McGowan seem to agree on this. All right, and for that matter, I'm with them, dude. I'm right there with them. You know, we're friends. We're on the same team. All right, but to look at them and to think that they have any, be honest with you, these are the poster children of the Me Too movement. And anybody thinks it'll be successful, dude? Who's throwing money at this? Who's throwing money at these people? All right. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not to say that they can't participate, but these are the poster children for the Me Too movement. I don't know if they know what gender they are, man, and they keep cutting up their face, putting all plastic. See, that's the thing, man. You know, Rose McGowan actually used to look attractive. I think everybody will agree. She does not anymore. And the thing is, not just because of the hair, all right? It is not just because of the hair. All right, cut up your face and got all sorts of plastic surgery on your face. And it looks weird. You look kind of like a cat lady. All right, but I'm a bully. Am I a bully just because I don't think that you should have cut up your face, look like a cat lady? You know what I'm saying? Shaved all your hair off, which is all right. Do whatever you want. You're hanging out with a lady who very much looks like a dude, and that is all right. We live in America. But why in the world would y'all be the spokespeople for what is and what is not sexually appropriate, especially in Hollywood, which is all we're really talking about. It's all perverts in Hollywood. Anyways, this August the 29th, 2018. And yeah, I am a bully, and I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.